From Dream Season Central, where I can assure you, I am thugged out. This is Kurt Berglund with Payoff Pitch Dream Season Sportspage number 12. Yes, my friends, we have completed 2/3 of the regular season in the Dream Season, which is a 26-team mini season of 18 games per team plus playoffs that I am doing with some of my favorite payoff pitch teams from seasons covering the past 60 years or thereabouts. Today, I'm going to give you the scores, the highlights, and the standings of all of the teams' games for game number 12 and talk a little bit about where things are headed over the last 6 games of the regular season. And, of course, a careful look at the standings and who's got a mountain to climb and who's in pretty good shape. So, let's get right to it. Here are your scores and highlights. In the Bronx, the 1964 Giants visited the 1977 Yankees. I should say that all of these games are the third and final game in their respective series. So, the San Francisco Giants were at the New York Yankees, 64 Giants at the 77 Yankees. The 77 Yankees held on to win 5-4. Home runs in the game. Reggie Jackson, a solo homer in the third for the Yankees. And Roy White, a solo in the seventh for the Yankees. None for the Giants. Mike Torres, the winner. Ron Herbel, the loser. And Ken Clay saved an exhausted Yankee bullpen by going 2 innings for a save. Not a perfect save, but a save nonetheless. So, Yankees 5, Giants 4. In Chicago at Wrigley Field, the 64 Phillies lost to the 79 Cubs 4-0. No home runs in the game. Dennis Lamp beat Dennis Bennett in a battle of the Dennises. Only the second win of the mini-season for the 79 Cubs. Next, in Boston, the 64 Cardinals played the 77 Red Sox, and the 64 Cardinals won in 12 innings, 7-6. Home runs in the game, Ken Boyer, a 2-run shot in the first for St. Louis. Lou Brock, a solo shot in the fifth for St. Louis. Julian Javier, a solo shot in the seventh for St. Louis. For Boston, Bernie Carbo, a 2-run dong in the fourth. And George Scott followed that with a solo shot in the fourth. And then, for good measure, George Scott hit a 2-run dong in the bottom of the sixth. But victory was not to be as St. Louis won 7-6 over Boston. In Milwaukee, the 87 Minnesota Twins visited the 2018 Milwaukee Brewers and won in 10 innings, 6-5. Home runs in the game, Kent Herbeck, a solo shot in the second for Minnesota. Steve Lombardozzi hit a solo shot in the fifth for the Twins. Kirby Puckett, a 2-run dong in the sixth for Minnesota. Tom Brunansky, a solo shot in the sixth for Minnesota. And then Kirby Puckett, a solo shot in the 10th for Minnesota. For Milwaukee, home runs, Mike Moustakas, a 3-run job in the fifth. Reardon, the winner. Joaquim Soria, the loser. In Chicago, at Comiskey Park, the 1977 Los Angeles Dodgers paid the 1983 White Sox a visit and won 7-4 in 11 innings. Home runs in the game, Dusty Baker, a solo in the sixth. And Steve Garvey, a 2-run shot in a 3-run 11th inning for LA. None for the White Sox. Charlie Huff was the winner. The Dodger bullpen has been full of arsonists. I had nobody left. I didn't know where else to turn. I'd already failed with Huff numerous times so far this season, so I went back to him, and he got the job done. Not without some drama, but Charlie got the job done. In Boston. Oh, no, wait. Did that already. In New York, at Shea Stadium, the 87 Cardinals paid the 69 Mets a visit, and the 69 Mets won in 13 innings, 4-3. Jack Clark hit a 2-run homer in the first for St. Louis. Cleon Jones, a solo shot in the first for the Mets. And Ed Charles, I said Ed Charles, a solo shot in the 7th for the Mets. In the bottom of the 13th, Cleon Jones, this is against Ricky Horton. Cleon Jones flew out to left in the bottom of the 13th to lead it off. Don Clendenin drew a walk. Ken Boswell had to be in there against the lefty because I'd used up the infielders earlier. He singled, and Clendenin went all the way to third, so first and third with 1 out and the game on the line. Art Shamsky had to hit against the left-hander because I had nobody left, and he singled home the winning run. So what have we learned about platoon advantages? I don't know. In Chicago at Wrigley Field, the 69 Senators paid the 84 Cubs a visit and lost. The 84 Cubs won 3-1. No home runs in the game. Dennis Eckersley, the winner. Jim Hannon, the loser. Lee Smith, a nerve-wracking, tension-filled, just like real life save. The Senators had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 9th inning and did not score because Smitty struck out Ed Brinkman, and then pinch hitter Jim French with the bases dripping with Senators. So the Cubs beat the Senators 3-1. In Milwaukee at County Stadium, the 69 Cubs paid the 87 Brewers a visit, and the 87 Brewers won. 83 Brewers, sorry, wrong team. 69 Cubs played the 83 Brewers, and the 83 Brewers won 7-1. Although it's been a very disappointing season for the 83 Brewers. Cecil Cooper, a 3-run homer in the 3rd. Gorman Thomas, a 2-run homer in the 3rd. And Cecil Cooper had a 2-run RBI later in the game, so he had 5 RBIs on the day. Not my favorite player. Just saying. Cecil, did you ever run out a ground ball? Just once, one time. Just once for me. It became like my thing to watch when I went to a Brewer game. Is Cecil going to run today? He never did. Brewers 7, Cubs 1. Chuck Porter the win. Rich Nye the loss. In Detroit, the 77 White Sox paid the 69 Tigers a visit and won 2-1. White Sox over Tigers. Home runs in the game. Al Kaline, a solo shot, accounting for all of Detroit's scoring in the 4th inning. Ken Kravik, another complete game victory. The guy is on fire. He's got the 77 White Sox strapped to his back. Joe Sparma, the loser, although he deserved a better fate. 77 White Sox 2, 69 Tigers 1. In Minnesota, the 64 Yankees paid the 77 Twins a visit and didn't like the experience. The 77 Twins won again 4-1. Home runs in the game, a walk-off by Bob Gorinsky, a little used backup outfielder for Minnesota who I was starting just because I had a feeling. I don't get feelings. If I did, I wouldn't spend my feelings on payoff pitch games. I'd play the lottery. But Bob Gorinsky came through with a 3-run dong in the bottom of the 9th to walk it off for the 77 Twins. Tom Bergmeyer, the victory. Steve Hamilton, the loss in relief. In Montreal at Jerry, or is it Jari Park, the 87 Tigers visited the 69 Expos, and the 69 Expos won 4-0, which has interesting implications from the American League pennant race. More on that in just a minute. Home runs in the game. Rusty Staub, a solo shot in the 7th for Montreal. That's it. Jerry Robertson. I said Jerry Robertson. Complete game shutout for Montreal. 4 hits allowed to the 1987 Tigers, who could hit a little. And those 4 hits were all singles. Frank Tanana, the loser. Sparky Anderson, vaping. In Philadelphia at the Vet, the 79 Brewers visited the 83 Phillies. It's been a very fun series. A lot of runs. 83 Phillies beat the 79 Brewers 11-3. Home runs in the game. Cecil Cooper, a 2-run shot in the 6th. He still isn't running. Gorman Thomas, a solo shot in the 5th. For Philadelphia, Mike Schmidt, a 3-run job in the 5th. Hudson, the winner. Haas, the loser. In Milwaukee, the County Stadium, the 83 Braves paid the 87 Brewers a visit. And the Braves won 4-2. No home runs in the game. Gene Garber, the winner. Dan Plesac, another loss. And Terry Forster, a 1-2-3 9th inning for the save. So the 83 Braves over the 87 Brewers 4-2. That concludes your scores and highlights for Games 12. Let's look at the standings. As you know, for the Payoff Pitch Dream season, I did not divide the 2 leagues into divisions. So it's one big 13-team playoff hunt. Top 5 teams make the playoffs. We're starting to get a little bit of separation. But look what's happened up at the top. The 69 Tigers have hit the skids a little bit after a very hot start. They are 8-4 and tied with their namesakes, the 87 Tigers, at 8-4. So we have a tie for first place in the American League pennant race. Second place, a tie between the 83 White Sox, the 79 Brewers, and the 77 Yankees, who've come a long way as well, to be all tied at 7-5, 1 game back of the division leaders. Then come 4 teams in third place. The 77 Red Sox, the 87 Twins, the 77 Twins, and the 77 White Sox are at 6-6, 2 games back, but only 1 game out of the playoff hunt. And then come the 64 Yankees and the 87 Brewers at 5-7. Both these teams have been very inconsistent. They're 3 games out. 83 Brewers are really just playing out the string. They're 4 back at 4-8. And the 69 Senators are parking cars now for a living. They're at 3-9, 5 games back. So the top 5 teams make the playoffs. So if the playoffs started today, these 5 would be in. But playoffs don't start today. We have 6 games left and a flex schedule. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is to figure out who plays who as we go forward to break ties and establish some separation between the teams. The only playoff game we will have, I think, it looks like now, would be for the last playoff spot, the road team in the wild card game, which is a one-game affair. So if we had a tie for the last wild card spot, I would fix that with a playoff. In every one-game playoff. In every other circumstance, we will go with head-to-head or common opponent's record to break the tie. So this is your American League. These would be your top 5 teams as of right now. Let's look at the National League. In the National League, we have a different looking set of variables here. First place is the 2018 Brewers, who were dealt their first loss of the mini-season so far. They are at 11-1. The 83 Braves are only 2 back at 9-3. The 69 Cubs are at 8-4. So are the 84 Cubs, 3 games back. All 4 of these teams well within the playoff picture at this point. The 5th spot for the playoffs would be between the 69 Mets and the 83 Phillies. They are at 7-5, 4 games out of first place. But you can't really count that because the Brewers are, you may as well say, they're going to get in the playoffs. Even though they haven't clinched yet, they're close. So what they're really fighting for, these teams are a game back of the playoffs, and one of them is actually would be in. Then come the 64 Phillies at 6-6, who are charging hard. They are 6-3 in their last 9 games. The 87 Cardinals are 5-7, and they're not out of it either yet. Although I wouldn't bet any money on the 64 Cardinals or the 69 Expos to turn this thing around and make it. Even if they run the table, they'd be at 10-8, and I don't think 10 wins gets you into the playoffs. But I do think that if the 87 Cardinals run the table and end up at 11-7, that might get them in. So we'll see. Bringing up the rear are the 64 Giants at 3-9 and the 77 Dodgers at 3-9. And at the very back of the pack is the 79 Cubs at a hugely disappointing and not very entertaining 2-10, 9 games behind the leaders. So your top 5 teams would come from this cluster of 6 at 7-5. In both leagues then, right now, 7-5 could be enough to get you in. That tells me that if that holds, 11 wins could get you in the playoffs. So an 11-7 record could do it. To be safe, certainly 12 or 13 wins would be much, much better, but 11 might get you in. So there's 6 games left, 2 3-game series, and almost everybody's done with their interleague games, with their interleague matchups. I think there's 2 of those left, I think. So everything else will be inside the league, intra-league play, intra-league, inside the league. All right. That covers it for Sports Page number 12. I want to thank you so much for following along with Payoff Pitch Dream Season Baseball. Tomorrow, we start the games for Game 13. Everybody's got 6 games left, 2 3-game series to go in the mini season that we call the Payoff Pitch Dream Season. Thanks again. Let's stick together, everybody. Hope you have a good night. So long, everybody.